Time to vent. What's the one Pokemon that gets 2 regional variants? This weird cat. And the designs for those regional variants? This trash. People dislike Trubbish, Klinklang, and Klefki, but I dislike these instead. I literally collapsed when I first saw Galarian Meowth on my first playthrough of Sword and Shield. I remember just showing it to my girlfriend and we just sat there in disbelief for a few moments. Anyways, today we're going to use the OG Meowth, which quite honestly I don't even like that much. I always thought it was so uncanny how it spoke in the anime, and I think that just really turned me off on this Pokemon altogether. Meowth's stats are decent, and we have incredible speed. In Generation 1, critical hits are determined by base speed. That's base speed, not the Pokemon's current speed, so stat-raising moves will not affect this calculation. With 90 speed, we have roughly just under an 18% chance to land a critical hit. This improves with the use of critical hit moves like Slash. TMs and HMs open up access to Bubble Beam, Thunderbolt, Body Slam, Mimic, and Rest for Meowth. The rules for this challenge will be that I'll only battle with Meowth. I won't use any items in battle, and I won't be using any glitches. Can I do it? Let's find out. The lab fight against the rival is pretty easy. I was testing a new emulator while starting this challenge, and every single time I played this battle, I won. I did it roughly 6 times. I think the only way to lose is the occasional miss due to the Generation 1 glitch, or some lucky critical hits from the opponent. Brock obviously isn't going to work at this level, but I think I'm actually dealing 2 damage to the Geodude each turn. I go and train, and at level 12 I learn Bite. With my new move, I head back to see if this has changed anything. Nope, still dealing the same amount of damage and I can't tank his hits very well. Back to training. At level 14, I get really close to taking Brock out. The combination of my high critical hit chance, Bite's chance to flinch, and my higher stats make this almost manageable. I level up one more time, and at level 15, I'm victorious. The strategy here was simple: spam Bite versus Geodude, and then switch between Bite and Growl depending on Onix's move selection. It's better if he goes for Bite as soon as possible. This limits the amount of damage his tackle does because we lower his stats with Growl earlier on. After the fight, Meowth is starting to grow on me. No, not you, Meowth. Go away, please. Oh god. Ugh. Anyways, I think this is actually going to be a really fun challenge. In Mount Moon, I pick up Water Gun. This will be useful against Sandshrew. Then I take out the Super Nerd and I grab the Helix Fossil. Lord Helix Run is coming soon, don't worry. Jesse and James are a bit scary. Meowth actually does a lot of damage to Meowth. I guess this cat is sort of its own worst nightmare. No, please. Let's examine the rival battle on Nugget Bridge. 2 bites take the Spearow down. Then Sandshrew comes out. I was so excited to one-shot this little devil with Water Gun, and I only did half damage. I guess Meowth just doesn't have stab and enough special to make it happen. At least Sandshrews Sand Attack misses, so I can proceed unscathed. Rattata and Eevee both go down without the need for commentary. I hope you can tell that I haven't been trying to level up as much as I normally do in these runs. Meowth is doing really well so far, so I need to handicap it a little bit. At the current level, I'm not sure that the gym is going to be possible. Misty opens with Staryu. My bite deals more than half damage, and then it hits Meowth with a Water Gun. That didn't do so much. I'm feeling confident about this. I conveniently learn Screech at this moment, and then Starmie comes out. Starmie often gets X-Defend or uses Harden, so I open up with Screech to maximize my bite's damage. Starmie uses Harden first turn, and my Screech lands. This means that the defense modifier is now 1 stage lower. Next turn, Starmie hits me with Water Gun, and my bite unfortunately misses. That's not good. Luckily for me, Starmie gets an X-Defend and then Harden over the next 2 turns. On the final turn of the battle, I land a critical hit, negating all of the stat changes Starmie has worked so hard to set up. On the SSN, I grab Body Slam and Rest before facing the rival. His first 2 Pokemon go down quickly, leading to the Sandshrew. This time, I get the satisfaction that I was looking for last time. It's so good seeing this thing go down in a single hit and avoiding Sand Attack entirely. So then Eevee comes out and uses Sand Attack against me anyways. It's inconsequential though because I still land my next hit on the next turn. Surge is next. This battle is usually pretty easy. He only has one Pokemon, and that means I generally get through this on luck alone. It's worth noting that Mega Punch and Mega Kick are normal moves in this generation. That means Raichu won't be super effective against Meowth. Even without super effective moves, this fight takes a bit of time. The first 4 fights, Surge decisively ends quickly by plowing through Meowth like it's nothing. Because of my move pool, at this point I don't have any way to get around this. My only other strategy would be to use Bide and then hope that he only uses one damage dealing move before switching into Growl or X Speed. On the 5th fight, I almost defeat Raichu while being paralyzed. It only takes 8 fights in total to finally defeat Surge. Again, this victory was entirely due to luck. Having a consistent strategy here is nice, but in the end most Pokemon can just make it through this on luck alone. Let's move on. My access to Water Gun is going to make the self-destructing Hiker and Rock Tunnel manageable. I'm so glad that I don't have to do this with an electric Pokemon. I'm going to be doing a Magnemite run at some point in the near future, so I know I'll suffer the pain of his exploding Pokemon soon enough. In Celadon, there's always a lot to do. Grab the PP up, fresh water, flying Pokemon, fly, the second PP up, and then complete the Rocket Hideout. There are 2 cat fights here. Jesse and James go much better this time. The second cat fight, it's Meowth vs Persian. Turns out this isn't very interesting because Giovanni's AI is absolutely terrible. Okay, so Erica's up next, and this one is a bit surprising. Meowth can't deal enough damage to take the Tangela down quick enough. Also, Tangela. I think I'm pronouncing it right now. Let me know in the comments below. Then Weepinbell can deal a lot of damage to us with Acid and Razor Leaf. To make things worse, it even sometimes paralyzes us. I tried some Screech tactics, but because of Meowth's high critical hit chance, stat changes don't feel particularly consistent. Instead of these approaches, I'm going to teach Meowth Rest and try again. Tangela comes out, and I take it down significantly easier with Rest than before. It takes more time, but it is more consistent. The next fight against Weepinbell isn't consistent yet. It just deals slightly too much damage to me for me to consistently heal. Because of this, I'm gonna go level up a few more times and then come back, hoping that the additional HP will make this fight possible. While I train, I want to show everyone the learn set that Meowth has available to it. There isn't a good option against grass types present anywhere within this set. At level 36, the fight is still extremely hard. I believe it might be possible with some wild luck, but there's another path that we can take. The next gym leader is Koga, who has a level 50 Venomoth. Either way I decide to progress, I'll need to level up significantly before proceeding. Because there's so many trainers between here and Koga, I'm going to opt for the Pokemon Tower route and then level up to level 44 when I learn Slash. The level boost, as well as the increased chance for critical hits with Slash, will likely make both Erica and Koga manageable. It's now time to learn Thunderbolt. It's going to help against the rival in Pokemon Tower and give us a higher base power move against all of the ghosts. I'll need to keep it for the rest of the run for Pokemon like Gyarados and Lorelei's entire team. I spend the next amount of time training up to level 44 in order to learn Slash. Once that has been accomplished, we make our way back to Erica and I try this fight again. Obviously, because I'm a higher level and I have a better move, this fight's going to be pretty easy. So instead of talking about Erica, let's talk about Slash and math. Hey, it sort of rhymes. In Generation 1, critical hit chance is calculated by multiplying a Pokemon's base speed by 100, and then dividing the total by 512. For Meowth, that gives us a 17.58% chance of a critical hit, roughly 1 in 5. When we're using a critical hit move like Slash, this formula is altered in the most broken way. Now the formula is base speed multiplied by 100 divided by 64, giving Meowth a critical hit chance of 140%. So every attack I perform with Slash will be a critical hit. Against Koga, Slash allows me to get through all the Venonats in 2 hits each. The third Venonat puts me to sleep, but I wake up immediately. After that, Venomoth comes out. This one takes more than 1 turn to knock out. It just derps around using Toxic and X-Attack before finally going down. It's time for Silfco now. I'm gonna try to get through this as fast as possible. There are only 2 trainers in here that you actually need to face. The route I like to take includes a third, so I didn't worry about that. The rival here is very hard. Sandslash is really messing Meowth up. I don't think I need to level up in order to make this happen though. I'll teach Meowth Bubble Beam to increase the power of my water move. Hopefully I can take the Sandslash down quicker without it using Sand Attack to mess up my accuracy. Bubble Beam does improve my damage against Sandslash, but not as much as I would have liked. I get hit by a massive slash before taking him down. Cloister doesn't go down to a Thunderbolt, but it misses its supersonic, so it might as well have been a one-hit. Magneton follows suit, also by missing its attack and fainting on my second slash. Kadabra is obviously a one-hit because of my extremely powerful physical slash. I then use Bubble Beam on Flareon, and it does 1/3 damage. Really? I was really sure that this was gonna do more. It's super effective after all. I guess Flareon's special combined with my low special and lack of stab is the reason this happened this way. Its Ember doesn't deal significant damage to me, so I get a chance to heal up next turn. Once I finally wake up, I retaliate with Slash and take it down immediately. I should have just gone with Slash right away. Critical hits are awesome. Jessie and James are officially pushovers now. I really like the idea of doing a Pokemon run with their Pokemon and their movesets at some point in the future. Funny enough, my list of upcoming videos now is very long, and it's going to take me a while to complete them all. If you've made a request and it hasn't shown up yet, I promise that I'm going to get to it. I love spreadsheets, and I've put together an Excel document with a big list of challenges for me to complete. Giovanni opens with Nidorino. I use Bubble Beam because I think it's a ground type, and then I immediately remember that it's a mono poison for the first 2 evolutions. Whoops. It's a cat fight next, and despite the fact that I am a pre-evolution, I knock it out in a single slash. After that, Rhyhorn is easy because Bubble Beam is 4 times effective against it. Nidoqueen doesn't go down in a single hit because I only deal 2 times damage to it, and it's decently buff. Giovanni though uses a guard spec and wastes his turn, so I just take it out on the second turn anyways. Up next is Sabrina. This is going to be extremely easy due to my speed, attack, and slash. Let's do it. Abra comes out first, and I take it down with Slash. This repeats itself for Kadabra and increases my confidence. Because Alakazam is a higher level than us and has incredible speed, it will likely hit me first. It goes for Reflect, which is meaningless because of my 100% chance for critical hits. I don't take it out immediately, and it goes for a second turn Psychic. Well, that didn't go so well. On my second fight, both Abra and Kadabra go down the same way they did before. I don't think I'll ever have an issue with these two. Alakazam this time goes for Recover first turn, and I get my Slash off. I just need to repeat this move selection on the second turn and I've won. It does go for Recover again, healing up, but just barely not enough, and I take it down with my second Slash. The AI is to blame here for my victory. If it only realized it could one-shot us with Psychic, I would have had to level up more, or consider an alternative strategy. Blaine opens with Ninetales, and Bubble Beam doesn't deal as much damage as Slash does. Ninetales and Rapidash luckily just derp around and eventually go down to my repeated uses of Slash. Then Arcanine comes out and I was terrified. The first 2 fights, I didn't even get this far. Arcanine misses his takedown and I get off my first Slash. This amount of damage means I'll need at least 2 more hits. The next turn, it hits me with takedown and I barely survive. After that, I get my final Slash in and take the victory. I kind of feel bad about this victory, and the victory against Sabrina. They don't feel entirely earned. However, my luck stops here. My level deficit has finally caught up to me. I can't get past Giovanni's Nidoqueen at this level. Bubble Beam doesn't do as much damage as Slash, and Slash just isn't cutting it. Now I've been reading everyone's comments, and many of you have pointed out that Mimic can be a game changer in these situations, especially against Giovanni. If I get good luck against Dugtrio, I can Mimic Earthquake and then use it against his remaining Pokemon. This strategy unfortunately doesn't lead to a consistent result at this level. Other than a double team strategy, I just don't see another way at this level. I'll go and level up and try this fight again after. At level 60, I have the stats required. This lets me one-shot and outspeed Dugtrio. After that, I also outspeed Persian. It misses its attack, and I make it into the battle with the Nidos with my stats and health intact. Additionally, this level is needed in order to two-shot both Nidoqueen and Nidoking. Once they're both out of the way, Rhydon is going to be an easy KO with a 4 times effective Bubble Beam. My speed is so high it has no hope of outspeeding me, so this fight's over. It's rival time. I wish I had something interesting to say about this fight. My moveset is diverse, and I can take most of his Pokemon down incredibly easy. Now, I'm gonna make fun of myself for a moment. Remember last time when I faced Flareon and I specifically mentioned how I should go for Slash against it right away because of its special stat? Yeah, I wrote that into this script a couple hours before this fight. Then this fight happens and Flareon comes out. Guess what I do? I use Bubble Beam. Whoa, I'm dense. I promise that I won't make this mistake in the champion fight. I will not make this mistake in the champion fight. I will not make this mistake in the Okay. With that out of the way, let's move on to the final 5 trainers in the game. Lorelei's Dugong takes 2 hits from Thunderbolt to go down. If possible, I want it to miss or use anything other than Aurora Beam. Cloister is next, and it gives me a moment to heal up if I need to. Generally, you have to heal many times until it gets a bad sequence of moves, leaving you with green health. The best way to do this is hit it first turn with Thunderbolt, so that it's 1 hit away from fainting. Slowbro is next, and at first I thought this would be the best Pokemon to heal against. However, its Amnesia setup makes it very scary offensively. Remember, Special is both an offensive and defensive stat in this generation. It generally goes for Withdraw first, so the best course of action is to use 2 Thunderbolts against it to take it down right away. Jinx has extremely weak defense. Slash rips through it right away. Lapras comes out, and if you've made it this far with green health, 2 uses of Thunderbolts will take it down. I'm really surprised that Meowth took Lorelei out so easily. I truly believed I'd need some more training before I could manage this. Please don't let Bruno be the trainer I can't get past. I end up losing the first fight with Bruno, but this comes down to Machamp's moveset. The Onix goes down immediately to a 4 times effective Bubble Beam. Hitmonchan is next, and I use Slash against it. I didn't have time to experiment with using Thunderbolt against it. 2 hits with Slash is good enough for now. Hitmonlee has lower defense, so it's taken out right away by a single use of Slash. I still can't believe that Slash critical hits every turn. Sometimes Generation 1 is just really broken. Finally, Machamp comes out. It takes 3 hits from Slash to go down. This is where I can lose. If it uses Submission, I lose. Well, Bruno's AI is terrible. Machamp really likes to use Leer and get an X defend. Because of this, I just wait until it gets one of these move selections and then I can proceed. Agatha is next. Her Pokemon are ghosts, but the only ghost move that they have is Lick. Thunderbolt is my go-to move for this fight. Even then, it doesn't do much damage against her ghost Pokemon. I considered using Mimic to grab Psychic at some point during this fight, but only the final Gengar has Psychic, so that would have only helped at the very end of the fight and would remove the possibility of using Rest for the remainder of the league. It takes me a while to get the first Gengar to go down. I switch into Bubble Beam for the last hit in order to conserve PP on Thunderbolt. Golbat comes out and gets hit by one of my critical hit Slashes. Then Agatha immediately switches it out for Haunter. The battle with Haunter takes a while. There's some inherent risk here. If I heal, Haunter can use Dream Eater on me. If I decide to attack while confused, I could deal damage to myself in confusion. I opt to just attack through the confusion since Haunter doesn't know any moves that are truly devastating against me. This turns out well for me and Haunter faints. Golbat comes back out, and now I've got my moments to heal up. Golbat's toxic and first supersonic fail, and then I wake up right as it confuses me with the second one. She then switches Golbat for Arbok. I take the Arbok down with 2 uses of Slash, and Golbat comes back out again for the 3rd time. I'm gonna finish you off this time, you stupid bat. But if you could just wait first while I heal up one more time. After waking up, I take it down and move on to the final Gengar. This fight begins with Meowth landing a critical hit Thunderbolt and Gengar confusing me in return. I hit myself in confusion the next 2 turns while Gengar misses 2 status moves. I'm really grateful that it didn't hypnotize me here. I finally get another Thunderbolt off and strangely Gengar retaliates with a nonsensical Dream Eater while I'm awake. Okay buddy, I'm not even asleep, come on now. The next Thunderbolt I land is what I needed to win. A critical hit that concurrently paralyzes the Gengar. Agatha heals Gengar with a super potion, but it's not enough. My next Thunderbolt also lands another critical hit. This 18% critical hit chance is really helpful. My first few fights against Lance don't go well. For that reason, I used my rare candies, and then things are working much better. Gyarados is now a one-hit, and the Dragonairs are a range. Because they are taken into low red health if I don't KO them, Lance typically will use a Hyper Potion on them, and then I'll get another chance to attack. Aerodactyl is when the fight becomes really challenging. It can deal a lot of damage, and the goal is to get into this fight with full health. Generally, I can take one hit in this fight and get to the Dragonite. However, in my 9th fight against Lance, I got a critical hit against Aerodactyl and took it down in a single turn. This lets us get into the Dragonite fight with full health. The scariest move Dragonite has is Hyper Beam. I don't know if I can survive one even at full health. Luckily, it goes for Thunder twice, and I survive both, allowing me to take it down. I thought this fight would take a lot longer, but it turned out to be pretty easy. Now, it's champion time. Butt sends out Sandslash first. Bubble Beam is super effective, dealing 2 times damage, but it doesn't quite take it down. Sandslash uses Poison Sting and deals a pathetic amount of damage to us. Alakazam is next, and I go for Slash, taking it down in a single turn. Executor takes 2 turns to knock out because it's quite buff. Magneton is a bit tricky. Thunderbolt deals a lot of damage to Meowth, and it also knows Thunder Wave, which can nuke our consistency and our speed. On my second fight, I get past the Magneton without being paralyzed. Cloister is next. I hit it with Thunderbolt, hoping for a one-hit, but it survives with orange health. It retaliates and takes me down to 9 HP. I rest up the next turn in order to enter the Flareon Fight with decent health. Flareon comes out, and this time I'm not going to be seduced by the pull of Bubble Beam. I go for Slash, and it takes Flareon down into low red health. At this point, if it uses Quick Attack, it's all over for me. If it doesn't, I'll outspeed and take the victory. So I did it. I beat Pokemon Yellow with a Meowth. Despite my words against this little kitty at the start of the video, I do like it more now. The critical hit chance in Generation 1 actually makes it really fun to use. It takes me back to my childhood, just trying to one-hit every enemy Pokemon. If you're still here, you're awesome. Thanks so much for supporting my challenge. It's been really fun chatting with everyone in the comments. I've collected a massive list of challenges from your comments, and I'm just beginning to work my way through all of them. If you want to support the channel, check out the Amazon links in the description. That's for the gear that I use to record these videos. By clicking on one of those links, you'll support the channel with any purchase that you make on Amazon. It doesn't even need to be for the gear that I've suggested here. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next challenge.